Moving on, the government is in the final stages of concluding legislation that could pave way for the reintroduction of high-capacity buses to serve commuters within the country's metropolis. The Ministry of Transport has already submitted to the government printer new regulations governing licensing of high-capacity buses that will have provisions that will allow commuters to stand as well as to sit. But how does this go towards solving the commuting experience in the country? Well, I had a chat with the Principal Secretary for Transport, Nuvamuli. Let's listen in. Kenya's transport sector is one of the most vibrant in the region, with over 20,000 registered public service vehicles operating across the country. Transport business has been booming. And although the matatu industry has continued to register well over 10% annual growth, the sector has mutated into one of the most uncultured. Attempts to tame operators have been futile, with poor regulation and weak enforcement standing in the way. The latest move to restore sanity into the sector was placing a freeze on importation of 14-seater PSVs serving Nairobi.
We have suspended for the purposes of reviewing the routes and doing proper studies on the passenger demand and PSV supply.
One of the other measures that the Transport Ministry is banking on is setting up of a bus rapid transit system for buses.
We will be having high-capacity buses. We are actually preparing the industry for that development. And that's why those regulations are coming in.
The new regulation stipulates the National Transport and Safety Authority shall license PSVs which shall carry both sitting and standing passengers. The new rules go on to state that all PSV buses should have a system that will reconcile the total number of passengers on board at all times. Failure to this attracts a fine of 5,000 each for the driver, conductor and owner of the vehicle.
So what's in it for us is a total reduction of cost of doing business, total cost of reduction of costs of commuting and transiting the city.
Kenya's transport sector in the early 80s and 90s had an efficient bus transport system ran under the Kenya Bus Service, which dwindled once the market was liberalized. The buses plied all the key routes within and outside the central business district at pocket-friendly rates. The Transport Ministry is keenly looking to revive the buses.
This high capacity, maybe with 40 sitting, 60 standing, maybe 100, 120 passengers, would actually replace maybe 10, 14 seaters.
Currently, 14-seater matatus are a common scene in the city streets, but will higher capacity buses pose any threat to the 14-seaters?
There should be no fear whatsoever. Actually, what they should be saying, and what we believe we have been telling them, is that we want them to invest in the right equipment, and we want to work with them to develop the industry, and I believe it will be good for everybody.